Like, this is just how you beat the MonoBlue mirror. This is it. This is the face of perfection. What are we even gonna cut? I mean, we're running 45 cards in this list, boys. Like, how are... Toucan flags. How are we even... Like, the downside of mono is supposed to be you can't find enough good cards to jam into your deck, right? We're literally at 45 card deck. How do we not have enough good cards to just jam in here? How good is Pugna against the field? Pugna could be a singleton splash, as could Lich. Okay, so then you experiment with the idea of the so-called singleton splash. This is where it gets interesting, because as we know, the Skywrath slot is replaceable. There are two splash options, one of them being Lich for black and the other being Pugna for red. Both of these will probably come out on the turn because the Lich for black wants to be able to play the Tyler Estate Sensor as well as the Trebuchets? Is this right? I mean, god damn it. It's more likely artillery, right? This gives up initiative when you use it. Okay, so the thing about artillery is it's unreliable, but even when it goes off literally half of the time, you can achieve it when either you or your opponent annihilates. Even when it goes off half of the time, it's still as much damage as trebuchets, right? God damn it. Okay. Is Tyler Estate Sensor even good? Well, we got our 50 card list. That was our dream, right? Cut bolts and put trebuchets. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, there's a smiley face at the end of that message. I kind of assume that's like sarcastic. I'm thinking about it, dude. You think I'm not thinking about that? That makes sense. Here's the thing though. So Tyler Estate Sensor, it kind of only makes sense when you're trying to capitalize off this, right? In the mirror, this card is probably useless, right? It's good if you're like red-black trying to get under them and force them out. In the mirror, what does this do? You play this on 4, you lock them out of a 4-mana play on one lane, they'll just play it on the other lanes. They don't care. Then in like 4 turns, they'll annihilate this, and slowing down their annihilation by 1 turn is kind of accomplishing nothing. This can't possibly be worth a card slot in this deck, which means I just got trebuchets, right? Does this just make sense, guys? I'm not joking. You think I'm joking? Like, this is just how you beat the MonoBlue mirror. This is it. This is the face of perfection. This is how you do it. Alright, just trebuchets and unsupervised artillery. We just don't lose. Right? 49 card deck. Big deck. Okay, what are we actually cutting here? This deck is starting to get a little too big, if you know what I mean. This deck is definitely starting to get a little too big. 48? 48 is probably an adequately sized deck. So B, the lowercase b in this case denotes the 1 color splash. I mean, this just makes sense, right? I mean, we got Chain Frost on 1 hero. Sacrifice is unironically a good ability. This just makes sense. I mean, what more could we possibly want from a deck, guys? Yeah, let's try it. Okay. So, it turns out, and you know, I get it, some of you guys are gonna laugh a little. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think the best counter to MonoBlue is just like figuring out a way to win the mirror without really changing very much. Which means like a 4 blue, 1 color splash. Could be Pugna as the other one. But red is just the worst color than black. They don't even have trebuchets. So, pretty nice opportunity to get a free multicast. Can you explain the more than 40 cards meme? Oh, gladly. So, okay. I will asterisk this preemptively by saying this deck should probably not optimize at literally 48 cards, okay? However, despite the fact that this deck should not optimize at literally 48 cards, you'll find that with so my MonoBlue deck, which I posted at 44 cards, I think it's optimized at 44 or Yeah, around 40, somewhere between 43 and 45 cards is where the mono blue deck should exist. Unironically, and the reason for that is because you have high mana signature cards that you actually don't even really want to draw early or multiple of each, and you want to kind of thin that out. In normal card games, you never run more than the minimum card limit for no other reason than, you know, it dilutes your pool. But in Artifact, because signatures give your deck some form of rigidity, it's actually beneficial in several cases. Like, people have done this. Like, Hoy has done this with aggro. He runs like 43 cards. I run 44 cards. Sifka was running like 41 or 42 cards. I think Honey was running 42 cards. Sifka was running 41. But like, this is one of the ways you build decks in Artifact. This is not a meme. We are not joking. Bit of an interesting position here. Might actually add any cost to mid, honestly. Might actually add any cost left, honestly. Should make a video about this. Yeah, I guess I'll have to. Ooh, Chain Frost. The thing is, Chain Frost is really good. And Sacrifice is really good for this deck. Especially for the mirror. Oh, sweet. So here's the important thing about Sacrifice. Identity cost looks kind of good here. It's got to be a trap, right? So the important thing about Sacrifice is in the mono blue mirror, the board doesn't matter because both players are nuking both sides. In a scenario where the board doesn't matter, you are basically not really paying for your sacrifice, right? If the board doesn't matter, then you're kind of drawing cards for free. And you can often find room to use Sacrifice where, you know, someone like your creep is about to die to conflag, or like someone's about to nuke the board next turn. Like, so Sacrifice is just kind of free card draw. It's sort of like Jamoy's thing, but twice as fast on the cooldown. Which is, I mean, hey, that makes it a lot better. One important thing to note, this is just part of the mentality you have to be aware of with Artifact. If you look at that entity cost mid, we killed, I think, 2 of his creeps. It was a symmetrical, so he had 3 creeps and 1 Luna, I believe. We had a Zeus and a creep. So both heroes died, both creeps died, and then on top of that symmetrical trade, we killed 2 of his creeps after all that is said and done, right? So the way to evaluate that, are we actually just ignoring right? We're going to lose. I don't want to put 3 heroes right, but I also don't want to just like tank this for no reason. It sucks. So the way to evaluate that, I mean, obviously we killed his hero when ours would have died to combat, but if we're just looking at the raw trade, the fact that we killed 2 creeps, you can compare that to a D portal. D portal gives you 3 creeps, we just killed 2 of his, right? So the question is, which one is better? And the answer is it should be D portal, but don't forget the gold. The gold is actually important, because when you D portal, you give your opponent 3 gold sometime later when they kill them. When you, at any cost, you are gaining gold, right? We're actually kind of winning the gold exchange here. This is part of the reason why at any cost is so strong. Like, even if you just use it to kill an equivalent board plus 2 creeps, killing 2 creeps might be worth more than spawning 3. Which is, you know, I mean, we all know D portal's nuts, right? So identity cost gets a little bit better here. It's actually, have I ever multicasted at identity cost before? I might be about to, right? Nope. So I think it's likely worth using D portal here. You want to play this where he doesn't have blue presence developed yet. Sometimes you multicast this. Feels bad. So, all in all, there's kind of 2 schools of thought with sorry, my train of thought gets away from me. Okay, there's kind of two schools of thoughts to kind of mono blue. You can either build a deck that counters it, or you can build a sort of version of mono blue that wins the mirror. We all like the idea of doing the latter. In reality, or sorry, we all like the idea of doing the former. In reality, it's much more likely that the best deck against mono blue is just effectively a version teched for the mirror. Now, this isn't technically a mono-blue deck, because technically we're running one black hero, but, I mean, it's still the same deck, right? Like, this is still a version of mono-blue that we've basically just teched for the mirror. And, you know, we all want there to be, like, some kind of non-blue counter, but in reality, it's more likely that the most stable counter ends up being something along these lines. Shield of Aquila, I think, probably doesn't do enough here.
15 seconds remaining.
You're getting it online pretty early, though. I think I'd just rather buy for my main deck.
5 seconds remaining.
Okay, so we're finally online, basically. We got Eclipse, if we want to use Eclipse. We don't want to give him an Annihilation left. We want to lower the maximum value of that. 3 heroes into the right lane seems bad. Are we Eclipsing right? At 5 charges? 5 charge Eclipse plus Zeus App is actually pretty good on this board state. Generally a no-no to put 3 heroes in one lane together. Might be a no-no in this case, honestly. But I'm going to do it anyway. Isn't Lich just a blue hero that got lost in the color pie? Sort of. So that's a good question. From a design standpoint, so there's this idea of color pie that you're referencing. You basically want to have like certain identities specific to certain colors. The weird thing about a color pie is it makes sense to break it as well, which isn't really intuitive. But basically, a well-designed color pie will have just a few exceptions to it, right? Like, you don't want to give a lot of exceptions, but you want to give a little bit. You want to give, you know, black a tinker. You want to give red a burning oil, you know, for board clears that otherwise kind of defy the color's identity. You know, red has, like, enough magic. Blue has D-Portal. Although, I mean, D-Portal sort of fits into blue identity. Not really, right? Like, it's just this proactive, just slamming meat card. I mean, I guess between D-Portal and Prey and Prolix, you could say part of their identity is Swarm, but I think in reality it's just like 3 exceptions to what their color pie is supposed to be.
15 seconds remaining.
Oh, I like this.
Hey, I want to hold it.
It's not a rock. Build it.
So we can identify how much initiative matters over here on right. Now, he doesn't have Axe, which means Berserker's Call isn't a threat, and it's not really that huge either way. Got an Eclipse at 5 charges. We like the idea of Prey on the Weak here. Now, at this point, we have to think to ourselves, you know, how much we are overextending for A, Annihilation, and B, at any cost. These are the 2 threats for us, right? We've got 5 dogs coming in. Gives him a fairly acceptable Annihilation. His at any cost still leaves Arcana alive and kills his own Zeus. I'm kind of okay with either here, and Prey on the Weak is honestly a shitty card in this matchup to get value out of. I think I'd put some pressure on him. And if he doesn't respond to this, maybe he leaves his Zeus alive to try to annihilate us next turn. Okay, he's gonna go ahead and Annihilation now. I think I'm okay with that. I mean, forcing the Annihilation out is probably the most value at any cost we'll get in this matchup because he's got 3 blue heroes. Honestly, if he was running with the version that had, if he was running with the version that had 3 red heroes and 2 blue heroes, I would on average get a lot more value out of Prey on the Weak because he has less clear potential, and maybe I would consider not using it there. And now I've just got 3 heroes, maybe a little overcommitted to this lane. This is probably an issue. 6 or more attack. God, what if I add Broadsword to this list? Does that make sense? I can draw 2 cards if I equip Broadsword on it first, right? Isn't that genius? The magicking wall doesn't go all the way. This sucks, right? Shit. Broadsword over Jasper and Blink? That's a hard no. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Opinion on Hourglass? Pretty good card. Not as OP as some people think, although it is, like, psychologically frustrating and therefore, you know... I mean, it's not objectively OP, but it's also not, like... Nerfs don't happen out of, like, win rate, right? That's a pretty misguided sense of development. I think that there's a lot of people that think the card shouldn't exist. Honestly, that argument is fair, but the card isn't objectively OP, whatever that means. This kills me, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty balanced. It's one of the more competitive items. It's one of the counters to blue in general, which is kind of important right now. I think it's a fair competitive level card. Honestly, a while ago I thought Hourglass was kind of OP and a little auto-includey. I feel like it's fairly balanced, all things considered. Would you consider enough magic a decent tech against MonoBlue? Yeah, for sure. Enough magic is... It's not amazing against MonoBlue, but it's pretty good. And the most important thing is that it's good outside of that matchup, right? That's really important. People, like, forget that. People want to counter MonoBlue, and they'll put in, like, the Pugnas of this world. In reality, enough magic is probably a better counter to MonoBlue than Pugna. Just because you can't choose what you're playing against. You can't counter good decks with bad cards. Like, maybe Pugna has a higher win rate against MonoBlue than enough magic, but... I mean, you don't build a deck to beat another deck. That's not how deck building works. You build a deck to achieve, plus value win rate against another deck while not sacrificing win rate against other decks that you're probably going to face. That's how deck building works. My Chain Frost is nuts, right? Where are all my cards locked, though? I think we just need to find blinks off of this. Die for me. Nice meme. I wish it gave you like 2 draws if it like ate a hero. That would be a lot better in this deck, honestly. I don't know. Sacrifice is a really good ability in blue. Maybe the Lich Splash could make sense. I mean, we have the Eclipse now. He goes left for Time of Triumph. I mean, he can't play triple left. Yeah, that's fine. So he wants the time mid. That's interesting. This lock deck is a little annoying because it makes it a little bit hard to evaluate this list. Whoa. Really?
I don't think so.
That's interesting. So he wants to annihilate over on the right side. I mean, he's just double dueling me? This is pretty bizarre. I'm not even sure if I want to solve this.
15 seconds
Yeah, I probably do.
You needed that.
If he equips an attack item now, I just Hourglass. I mean, initiative can't matter right now because he's kind of set up to time mid. Like, we can think ahead in terms of initiative. Middle, it won't matter because only he has plays. So initiative could matter if I pass here and then he passes here and then whoever has initiative on the third lane looks pretty good. So he's trying to double duel me, right? But he's forced to time here. He's committed 2 heroes here. He's got the time in hand. So he has to pass initiative back to me on the right side, which means initiative basically can't matter here left. I think using Diabolic here feels pretty good. Unfortunately, when he goes to Time of Triumph this Diabolic will cost me a lot of health on this mid tower. This is going to 12 and this is going to... It's costing me a total of 11 health. This is an expensive Diabolic to use from the left side. I think it's always better to Diabolic from the right side after Eclipsing. And we do need to Eclipse that right tower. We're going to bolt this line next turn, which means we just want a D-portal to set this up into bolt range. So we'll Eclipse right, and then just stall out 2 turns for bolt here. Feels pretty good. Clips into Diabolic right. And this is why using Diabolic on the right side is so much stronger than using it left. In a lot of cases. Not always. But this creep having its combat phase before we Diabolic is really important. Because this creep is saving us 11 damage to our face. So it doesn't really matter, but theoretically a very minor optimization is every time your opponent passes and you're going to pass. Sometimes there are situations where if you tap your mana with Sanctum, you get more mana. Sometimes they have a play that they're going to make. It's an extremely meaningless optimization in most cases though. So he has the time of Triumph here. I don't think there's anything else you can reasonably do. The question is, does Eclipse even kill this? No. Wow, Eclipse kills it. Nice. So, we take this tower. Feels pretty good. Yeah, Eclipse would have killed that no matter what it hit. So, we took the tower, set this into bolt range, and that's kind of all we care about. Dude still hasn't taken one of our towers yet, huh? Dude, red is such a shit color. So now all we have to do is just last one more turn and bolt his face. Pretty easy stuff. Our Annihilation is still locked. Rip me. Maybe he gets spooked. So what are we playing around? Again, we're min-maxing his Annihilation. We don't want this to come off for value. So right now we look at left lane. Let's assume his Luna goes left. He has either Time of Triumph or Annihilation. He's already got the Legion commanded though. This Annihilation on left is not really amazing for him. We're just going to go ahead and keep our options open like this. We're keeping his Annihilation low because since he has the Legion commander here, I mean he could annihilate this lane, but it kind of does suck. Like he doesn't want to. Of course if he just uses Time of Triumph here, he'll just lose on the spot. Oh, yeah. Give it to me. That's what I want. Want to run Hipfire for more control? I could. The problem with Hipfire is, in this case, Hipfire is a card that is very situational. And thus the problem with it is it's basically, the best way to think about it is it scales with the amount of black heroes you have, right? Trebuchets is the opposite. Trebuchets has low mana cost and an improvement that you can play anywhere, which means it's a better splash card. Something like Hipfire feels quite a bit worse when I don't have the ability to really choose exactly where I want it. So it looks like we're just double Thunder Godsing here.
Two heads are better than the bleeding thing where your head used to. I'm sorry, this got away from me.
I am Salamander's hand.
Okay, so we're gonna have to wait a full turn to come back left, which is kind of annoying. Actually, I guess we just TP our Zeus mid, and then he has to kind of pass us back initiative, right? That way we can just bolt left next turn. That'll be nice. We're out. Okay, give it to me. Ugh, just time, dude. There we go. We got it. This just ends the game faster. I mean, this game is over for a while.
You can't escape the dark moon.
He hasn't even taken, like, all of our towers are above half health. That's kind of crazy. Okay, I mean, eh? Maybe there's something here. I didn't actually draw any of my black cards that are supposed to help in the mirror, but, you know, maybe next time, right?